UMBC Recreation. If this is your first time taking this class, it's structured much like any other exercise class where we start with a slow warm-up to build heat in the body. We pick up a little bit of speed in our flow. We become more mobile around the mat. And then we end with the cool down where we finish the practice on our backs in stillness for about 2 to 3 minutes and a final resting pose where we give some time for reflection, because yoga isn't just about the work that we do in our physical body, it's also about the work that's happening internally as well. With that being said, I want to remind everyone to always listen to your body throughout the practice. Please don't let your ego get in the way of your practice today, meaning sometimes we have to turn off all that side commentary in our head, what we think we should do, how we think we should look, and practice what's right in our body. If something doesn't feel right, please don't do it. Don't get stuck up in how I feel or how I look in the poses. Sometimes you may look a little different, so just practice for yourself and nobody else. And always make sure to check with the doctor before you start a new exercise regimen. So let's get started. We're going to get started in a seated position today. So any comfortable seated position will do, and you'll take that at the top of your mat, facing forward. Just place your hands by your sides. Let's start with a few deep breaths. Start to deepen your breath, filling up the chest. And I want you to keep your gaze focused in one spot for the next few moments. And just focus on the breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Another few breaths just like this. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. And resume your normal breath. Extend your left arm up to the ceiling, stretch through the tips of the fingers, and hold here. Gaze is up towards the ceiling. Getting a nice stretch on the left side of the body. Take a slight side bend over to the right, and then roll down towards the front and come back to center. Let your head fall over to the right shoulder. And then in a counterclockwise direction, we'll take a nice slow neck roll. One circle all the way around. And once your chin comes back to the chest, lift your head and look forward. Right arm extends, reach through the fingertips, nice and long, gaze up towards the ceiling. Take a few deep breaths into the upper chest. Add a slight side bend to the left, and then roll down back through center. Head falls over to the left shoulder this time, and we'll take a neck circle in the clockwise direction, nice and slow, all the way around. Again, once chin makes it back to the chest, lift your head and gaze forward. Place your hands on your knees and round your spine, drop your chin to the chest. As you draw the breath in through the nose, lift and arch the spine, tilting head up towards the ceiling. Exhaling out through the mouth to round the spine. Inhaling to lift and arch. And we'll keep with this for a few more rounds at your own pace. Exhaling to round. Inhaling to lift. Relaxing the muscles around the spine here. 1 or 2 more times. And then find stillness in your seated position. Spinal twist to the right, placing right hand directly behind you and left hand in front. Gaze to the back of the mat. Keep the spine long towards the ceiling. And activate your core a little bit. Draw the belly in. Take a deep breath in through your nose. As you exhale out through the mouth, unwind and return to center. Spinal twisting to the left, right hand in front. Take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale to unwind. Extend just the right leg forward. Keep a slight bend in the knee, heel to mat, foot flexed. If your left knee is not already bent, go ahead and draw the foot in close to the body, knee bent. Lift both arms overhead, and on your next exhale, we'll forward fold, dropping the belly to the thighs, letting our arms fall down at our sides. Gaze is down towards the mat. Foot stays flexed. If your belly is far away from the thigh, I want you to bend your knee a little more so that belly can rest on thigh, protecting the low back, lengthening the spine, and getting a nice stretch in the right leg. Slowly rise back to seated. And we'll switch legs. Left leg extends, right's drawn in. Slight bend in the extended leg, foot flexed. Draw the breath in through the nose, both arms overhead. Exhale out through the mouth into folds, belly to thigh. And just breathe here. Slowly rise back to seated. Extend your right leg forward so both legs are extended, slight bend in the knee. Same thing, inhaling, arms up. Exhaling to folds, belly to thighs. Bend those knees a little more if you need to make that contact with your belly. And if you can hold on to the back of the heels, I want you to grab hold and help lengthen the spine. Shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Slowly lift the spine upright. We'll swing the legs behind us, coming into tabletop, hands underneath the shoulders or wrists under shoulders and knees under hips. Extend your right leg behind you. We're going to flex the foot today. So foot is flexed, heel in line with hip, in line with shoulders. Notice right now my hips are square towards the mat. We're going to lift into a half moon variation. So I'm going to flip my hips so they're facing the long edge of the mat and lift up to the tips of the right finger. Take a look at your right leg. Make sure it's still in alignment. Ankle in line with heel. Draw your belly button back to the spine for some stability. And if you want to challenge your balance, try raising your right arm up towards the ceiling. Stay light in the left hand. Nice active core for stability. Gaze is down towards the mat. Don't hold the breath. And then right hand comes down to the mat. I'm going to turn my hips down so they're square with the mat. Then draw the right knee in towards the chest, rounding the spine, lifting the knee high and stepping the foot into a lunge position. Ankle right below the knee. Place that foot there manually. If you can't do it, hands free. Draw the breath in through the nose, lifting arms overhead for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale out the mouth. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands down to the floor. Step back into tabletop. Hands flat. Left leg extends, foot is flexed. We're going to lift into half moon, so I'm flipping my hip to face the long edge of my mat. Bringing my left arm up to the ceiling. If you're wobbling and falling over, that's okay. You're working towards the pose either way. Left hand can stay on the mat if you're feeling kind of wobbly. Everyone bring your hand down to the floor, square the hips to the mat. Draw left knee in towards the chest, round the spine, and step the foot into lunge. Draw the breath in through the nose, lifting arms overhead for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hands down. Step back into tabletop. Round the spine to cat pose, tucking chin to chest. Lift and arch to cow, gaze up to ceiling. 2 more times, rounding the spine. Lifting to arch. Last time, round and arch. Return to your tabletop position and settle into child's, hips back to the heels, arms extended down the length of the mat, forehead to mat. Toes are touching, but knees are separated just enough to make space for your belly to rest between the thighs. And we'll take a few breaths here to finish our warm-up. If you're uncomfortable in child's pose for any reason, take a look up here. Come back to tabletop and try puppy instead for your rest position. Elbows to mat, palms face down, and head is relaxed. Whichever feels most comfortable in your body, you're more than welcome to take. Everyone slowly rise back to tabletop and lift up to the tips of the fingers. We're going to prepare for down dog. So actually bring your hands flat and tuck your toes onto the mat. If you've never taken down dog before, we're going to break it down into parts. If you're familiar, you're more than welcome to lift into down dog now. If you're taking it in parts with me, start by spreading your fingers wide, pressing firmly into the pointer finger and the thumb. We're going to lift the knees off the mat first, drawing our belly in, then hips up to ceiling and belly back to thighs. Notice my knees stay bent. Outer arms or upper arms rotate outwards, broadening the back. We're going to take a few breaths here. If you're working with knees bent, you can try straightening one leg, then switching and straightening the other, keeping the spine nice and long and hips reaching for the ceiling. Gaze is between the feet. Everyone look forward, send your weight forward and step your right foot into lunge, ankle below the knee. Step up to half lift, so my left foot steps up to the top, flattening my back, hands to shins. Lower to fold, bending the knees, dropping belly to thighs, arms and head hang heavy. And one vertebrae at a time will rise to a standing position, leaving your chin tucked to your chest till you make it all the way to the top. Once you're upright, lift the arms overhead and gaze up to ceiling. Lower back to fold, bending the knees, dropping belly to thighs. Rise, half lift, flattening the back. Step into a plank position, so bend your knees, plant your hands, and step back into a traditional plank. Lower the knees to tabletop and uncurl the toes, top of feet to mat. For chaturanga, we'll lean forward, shoulders out past the wrist, then bend the elbows, keeping them close to the body at a 90-degree angle before lowering all the way flat to the mat. Hands under shoulders and elbows up towards the ceiling. We'll lift the chest for baby cobra using the strength of our core and low back. Don't press into the hands. And then press into our rest pose. Child's or puppy, whatever felt best in your body. We'll take just a breath or two here. Make them nice and deep. Full breaths. Slowly rise back to tabletop and prepare for down dog, tucking toes onto the mat. Lifting the hips up to ceiling, belly back to thighs, knees can stay bent. Upper arms rotate outwards. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. If you're working on pressing both heels to the mat, make sure that you're not compromising the length in your spine. If you try to press those heels down, you notice your upper back or your back rounds, bend the knees, it's okay. Look forward and step your left foot up to lunge. Rise to half lift, flattening your back. Lower to fold, belly to thighs. And we'll slowly rise up to standing. Take your time, there is no rush. We'll do that 2 more times through, lifting arms overhead, gazing up to ceiling. Lowering to fold, belly to thighs. Rise, half lift, flatten your back, and step back into your plank position. Lower the knees to the floor and uncurl the toes. Lean forward for chaturanga, bend the elbows 90 degrees, and then lower all the way flat. Lift the chest to baby cobra, shoulders wrap behind the heart, and press into child's or puppy, taking a moment of stillness here. Again, bringing that focus back to your breath. Slowly rise on up to tabletop. Preparing for down dog, lifting hips up towards the ceiling. Pressing firmly into the pointer finger and the thumb and out through the pads of the fingers. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Look forward and step your right foot up into lunge. Step up to half lift, flattening the back. Lower to fold, belly to thighs, and slowly rise to standing, 1 vertebrae at a time. For the last time through, let's try to tie in our breath. Let's inhale through the nose to lift the arms overhead. Exhale out through the mouth to lower to fold. Inhale, rise into half lift. Exhale as you step back into plank and lower the knees to tabletop. Take a breath in here. As you exhale, find chaturanga, leaning forward, bending the elbows flat to belly. Inhale, baby cobra, lift the chest, and exhale to your rest position. Slowly rise to tabletop and lift the hips to down dog, up to the ceiling. Belly reaches for the thighs. Really deepen your breath in your down dog. Help those muscles to relax. Look forward and step your left foot into lunge. Step up to half lift as you inhale, flattening the back. Exhale to fold, belly falls down, and draw the inhale out as you rise to standing, and then exhale at the top. Bring your left arm up to the ceiling, reach through the tips of the fingers, nice and long, gaze is up to the ceiling, core is active. We'll take a slight side bend to the right and roll down to forward fold, bringing belly back to our thighs. Rise, half lift, flattening the back, and step into your plank position. Lower the knees to tabletop and uncurl the toes. Left leg extends behind you, flex your foot. We're gonna lift open into half moon, so hips lift to the left edge of the mat, arm up to the ceiling, and we'll hold it here. If your arm is upraised and you'd like to take it a step further, challenging your balance and adding a back bend, try bending the left knee, reaching down and grabbing the foot from the outside. Once you've got hold of the foot, you can gently kick into the hand, keeping the core active. Opening the chest, stretching the shoulders. If you've got a hold of your foot, gently release, extending the leg, extending the arm. Everyone bring your hand down to the mat and square your hips to the floor. Draw left knee in towards the chest, round the spine, and step it into a lunge position. Lift up to the tips of the fingers, right toes tuck onto the mat, and we'll lift that knee in the air, lifting up to pointer and middle finger. Slowly lift both arms overhead into Anjaneyasana. If you were really wobbly and found that troubling, you can bring your hands to your thighs first and then extend the arms overhead. We're going to hold to your left knee, stay stacked over the ankle. We're on the ball of the right foot. Take a few deep breaths into your chest. Draw the breath into the belly, move it up to the chest, and exhale out through the mouth. On your next exhale, open to face the right side of your mat into 5-pointed star, feet flat and arms at shoulder height. Bring your hands to your hips, and turn your toes so they're slightly facing in towards one another, and send your tailbone long to the floor, so remove any curve you might have in your low back. Hinge forward at the hips until you can bring your fingertips down to the floor, bending the knees if you need to make that happen. For our first variation in separate leg forward fold, we're going to take our pointer finger and our middle finger, so our peace fingers, wrap them around each big toe. This might be enough for you here. Focus on just lengthening the spine, gazing down towards the floor. If you want to add the fold, slightly bend the knees, send your belly down as if it's reaching between the legs. Elbows point out to either side of the mat. Head hangs heavy. Everyone rock your weight forward into the balls of the feet, but keep the heels on the mat. Gently release your grip, bringing your fingertips out in front and lengthening the spine once again. Left foot turns to face the front of the mat, and we'll walk our hands into lunge, lifting the right heel back off the mat. Step back into your plank position and lower the knees to tabletop. Lean forward for chaturanga, bend the elbows, lower flat. Inhale to lift your chest, baby cobra, and exhale to child's. Taking a moment of stillness here, bringing that focus back to your breath. Slowly rise to tabletop. Use your exhale to move into down dog, hips up to ceiling. If you'd like to spice up your down dog, so we're going to add a little step if you like. We're going to try three-legged dog to take us back to the top of the mat. So I'll start by extending my left leg up towards the ceiling. I almost kicked my fish tank there. And then I'll draw my knee in towards the chest and step it through. If that seems impossible, you can skip the three-legged dog and just step your foot on up to lunge. Inhale as you step up to half lift, flattening your back. Exhale, fold belly to thighs, and draw out that inhale as you rise to standing. Chin comes up last. Extend your right arm up towards the ceiling, reach through the tips of the fingers, activate that belly. Take a slight side bend over to the left and we'll roll down to forward fold, belly to thighs. Rise half lift. Step back into plank and lower the knees to tabletop. Right leg extends, foot is flexed, opening to our half moon pose, arm up to ceiling. Core is active for stability. If you took it a step further on the opposite side and reached for the foot, do the same here, bending the knee, grabbing foot from outside, very gently kicking into the hand to help open the chest. Keep your core active if you're in this variation. We want to protect our low backs. If you've got a hold of your foot, go ahead and release, extend the leg, extend the arm. Everyone bring your hand down to the mat and square the hips to the floor. Right knee in towards the chest, round the spine, stepping the foot into lunge. Lifting up to the tips of the fingers, lifting left knee into the air. Inhale as you lift both arms to Anjaneyasana, and we'll take a few breaths here. Again, drawing the breath into the belly, moving it into the chest, and exhaling out through the mouth. Open to the left side of your mat into 5-pointed star, arms at shoulder height. Turn the toes so they're facing one another and lower your arms down by your sides. So you guys stay where you're at. I'm just going to turn this way so you can see me a little easier for our next variation. Bring your hands to your hips and hinge forward again, bringing the fingertips down towards the floor. For this variation, we're going to walk our fingertips forward, helping to lengthen the spine, sending the weight into the balls of the feet. Broadening our shoulders on the back side of our body, and we'll take a few breaths here. If the legs feel really tight, you can gently bend the knees. We're just getting a nice lengthening in the spine here, a nice stretch for the back side of the legs. Deepen the breath. Walk the fingertips closer in towards the body. Right foot turns to face the front of the mat, and we'll rotate into lunge, lifting left heel off the mat. Step back into plank, lower the knees to tabletop. Exhale as you lean forward for chaturanga. Inhale to baby cobra, and exhale to child's, hips to heels. Short rest here. Inhale as you rise to tabletop, and exhale to down dog, hips up to ceiling. Give me a breath or two here, in through the nose and out through the mouth. If you're taking 3-leg dog, this time right leg lifts towards the ceiling, and then everyone step your right foot into lunge. Inhale as you step up to half lift. Exhale to fold, and we'll hang out here for a few breaths. Let the arms hang heavy. Shake the head yes and no a few times. Keep the low belly drawing in as hips reach towards the ceiling. And again, if your belly's far away from the thighs, bend the knees so you can make some contact. Slowly sway side to side. And slowly rise to a standing position. Go a little slower than you've done for the rest of the class. Really feel each muscle as they work to get you to a standing position. Give me a nice deep breath in through your nose as you lift the arms out at your sides and overhead. Exhale out through the mouth and bring the hands down through heart center and down by your sides. Again, breath in, arms up. Exhale, hands together. Down at your sides. Last time, deep breath in. This time, exhaling to forward folds, belly to thighs. Inhaling, half lift, flattening your back. Then step into a plank position. We're gonna hold this plank here for 10 seconds, but if you're tired, you're more than welcome to lower to your belly now. We're all gonna get there eventually. We're gonna hold here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way down to your belly, all the way flat. Turn your head so you can rest on one cheek and bring your arms along the sides of your body, palms face up to the ceiling. Bring the toes to touch, but let the heels fall out towards either side of the mat. Take one nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, just relax onto the mat as if you're melting. This is the time I always close my eyes in my practice. So maybe try closing the eyes during this short intermission. And just feeling the beat of your heart. Noticing the pattern of your breath. Slowly turn your head to the opposite side. Again, resting on the cheek. Bring your chin to the mat and bend the knees so toes are up towards the ceiling, and slowly windshield wiper the feet side to side. We have some options for back bending today, so we're just helping to break up any tension we might have built up in our low backs. Nice and gently, feet fall side to side. Lower your legs back to the mat. Place your hands underneath your shoulders and press into your rest position. If you're in child's, try rounded child's this time. Arms along the sides of your body, palms face up to ceiling, and forehead to mat. Nice and slow, rise to seated. Swing your legs out in front so they're down the length of your mat. Start with the feet flexed. Lift the arms overhead, drop chin to chest. Round the spine into rounded back stretch, lowering hands to knees, pointing elbows out to the long edges of the mat, and relaxing shoulders away from the ears. If you find you can't take deep breaths where you're at, ease out of the pose just a little bit and deepen the breath. Slowly start to lift the spine upright, finding our way into staff pose, placing hands on either sides of the hips, finding length through the spine before we relax to neutral. If you're not already sitting in the center of your mat, I want you to make your way there now. Bending the knees, placing the feet on the mat, and holding on to the back sides of the thighs. We're going to walk the toes in towards the body and lengthen the spine, drawing our chest towards the legs. Make sure you're on your sits bones, not your tailbone. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. And we'll take a few breaths here. We're engaging the core just a little bit. Lengthening the spine, giving it some stability. Step the toes back out so feet can come flat. And let the knees fall away from one another, bringing the bottoms of the feet together into a butterfly pose. The more the closer you draw those heels to the body, the more sensation you'll feel in the hips. Keep the spine nice and lifted. Gaze is gently down towards the mat. Draw the knees together like you're closing a book. Hands on the back of the thighs once again, and we'll roll down until we're flat on our back. Extending the legs down the length of our mat. Lifting the arms overhead, giving me a nice long stretch through the tips of the fingers, through the toes. And then relax, lowering your arms down by your sides, drawing both knees in towards your chest. And then wrapping your arms around the legs, pulling them close to your body, keeping the feet side by side. And we'll hold here for a little bit. If you're feeling any discomfort in the knees, you can hold on to the back of the thighs instead. We're just sort of massaging our internal organs, getting a nice stretch for the low back. Keep the knees drawn in towards the chest, but release the arms down towards the floor at shoulder height, palms face up to ceiling. Let the knees fall to the right into recline, spinal twist, and gently turn your head to the left. This is our last pose before our final resting pose. It's a great time to close the eyes and start turning that focus inward. Slowly draw the knees back to the center of the chest. Let the knees fall over to the left side now as head turns to the right. Slowly draw the knees back to the center of the chest for the last time and grab a hold of the legs, pulling them close to the body. Slowly lift your head to meet your knees. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose, hold it at the top. And as you exhale out through the mouth, we'll release the body to lay flat on the mat, separating our legs and arms nice and wide. Take up space. Palms face up, toes fall out, and eyes are closed. We'll finish here with our final rest period. Release any tension from your brow. Separate the upper and lower jaw so that they're not touching. And remove your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Draw your focus to your breath, following every repetitive, rhythmic rise and fall of your chest. Recognizing that every time you exhale, tension, stress, and insecurities leave the body. Every exhale moves you deeper into relaxation. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Welcome movement back to your body. Gently roll over to the right side of your body, taking a moment of stillness on your side, maybe using your arm to support your head like a pillow. Keeping your eyes closed or your gaze low to the floor, slowly press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. As always, to end class, we'll take 3 cleansing breaths together as one. That's breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. We're going to take a 3-part breath today. So we'll break the inhale into 3 parts, filling belly, ribs, and chest. And then breaking the exhale into 3 parts, chest, ribs, and belly. We'll all start on an exhale, so release all the breath you have in the body. Begin to inhale through the nose, filling the belly, the ribs, the chest, exhaling from the chest, the ribs, and the belly. Breath into belly, into ribs and chest. Exhale from chest, followed by ribs, followed by belly. Deepest breath yet, into the belly. Fill the ribs, fill up the chest, fill the chest. Exhale from the ribs and the belly. Take a second to thank yourself, thank your body, thank your mind for getting you through this practice. I'd like to thank you for letting me lead you on this practice. There is a light within me that honors the light within each of you. So thanks for joining me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this class and you're looking for more classes just like this, it's aired every Monday at 8 a.m. If you're looking for something a little more challenging, I have a core yoga class that airs every Wednesday at 8. It's a lot of fun, but it's hard work. If you guys haven't followed us yet on UMBC Rec on Instagram, please give us a follow. Keep up with all of our new content. And we also have a YouTube channel at UMBC Rec TV. I hope to see you guys next time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week.